That's great.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Unfiltered Journeys Podcast, where you already know we're building a beautiful community through open and honest conversations.
Together, we're learning to communicate better, strengthen our relationships, and elevate our lives as a whole. And here we are, episode 10. That's so crazy. I can't believe it. 10 episodes. 10 episodes.
am like floored. And I mean, to some people might look at that and be like, 10 episodes, wow, who cares?
Right.
But that really is such a big deal.
Mhm.
The fact that we have stayed so consistent, stuck to this,
Mhm.
especially, I mean, we had started this before, recorded 3 episodes, didn't post any of them. We're like, no, hold on, let's wait a minute.
Right.
But yeah, here we are at 10
Mhm.
episodes, and truly we could not be here, obviously, without you guys showing so much love and
Exactly.
the messages. Oh my gosh, whenever you guys message, whether it's Instagram or TikTok, even personal messages from friends, I don't think you understand how much we love and appreciate
how much we
it.
cheese over them. They're
We
so
send
cute.
them to each other.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's just,
Mhm.
you guys are always, almost always, giving some super hype, motivational message, always giving like some type of feedback to the message and what you
Yeah.
loved about it. And that makes it easier for us to be able to continue to do episodes, and even giving like suggestions of things that, you know, you want to see us doing moving forward. And we just love and
Exactly.
appreciate that so much.
And it keeps us going, obviously, seeing like you guys' reactions and, you know, how much you say you love how funny we are together. I love hearing that. 'Cause
I
I'm like,
know.
yeah, we think we're funny together too. So thank you.
She's the funny one, and I just laugh at everything. So that's the dynamic we've got.
But it's been so fun, and we've had a great time, you know, just creating content for you guys. It's been a journey, and it's been fun. So we're enjoying it.
I
and
can't wait till we're
taking
here
this moment.
at our 100th episode.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
90 more to go.
90 more. Jeez, that sounds so far off.
I know.
But today, actually, our episode is going to be kind of, you know, what we're actively living out right now. Being consistent and disciplined, and not only in our podcasting journey, but just as life as a whole. You know, not everybody watching is doing a podcast, but you could definitely use this knowledge for anything that you're trying to achieve.
Right. So the first topic, you just introduced the power of consistency. So what does that mean to you?
To me, being consistent is showing up no matter how it is that you're feeling, making daily habits. You really do have to stick to doing something every single day. Not only just say like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it, but actively walk that out every single day. And there's a book called Atomic Habits where they talk about me and all these books. There's a book called Atomic Habits where they talk about how it takes 21 days to build a habit. And when I say truly, that is like, I live by that. Being in the gym, right? People will go to the gym and they'll go for a week, 2 weeks, and then they fall off. Or they'll go for even a month, but go extremely inconsistently. It's hard to achieve something, no matter what it is that the goal is in your mind. It's going to be hard to achieve it when you're not staying consistent.
That's actually a great point, because I feel like you're very consistent with the gym, and I always see like you post a lot about it, and whether it's like early in the morning or even late at night, like you're like always gonna get like your like workout in.
Girl,
versus me, like I'm like the inconsistent like workout person. No, like seriously, like jokes aside, like that's one area where I feel like I've had to get like creative with like how I get my workout in, because it's been like a struggle in terms of like keeping up with the consistency, you know what I mean? So I've had to like, one way that I've like kind of going into like consistency is like I've actually adapted it to my lifestyle, which is like sports. like kind of adapting it to like volleyball. So now I'm consistently working out by playing adult leagues and making it a 3 to 4 times a week type of thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like playing games, going to open gyms, weekends, and like getting my workout that way. And sometimes we forget, like, maybe the gym's not my thing, but still consistently, actively, like, working out and getting a workout in. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You have to find what works for you.
Exactly.
Not every blueprint is going to work for every single person. We are all very different. We have different interests. Our body functions differently. So find whatever it is that works for you and just stick with it.
Yeah. Do
Nike,
it.
just do
Whatever
it.
brings
We are
you
not sponsored.
joy, right? And it is true. Like, consistency is really the key. And like, another thing you touched on is no matter how you feel, it's a big one. Feelings getting in the way of your goals.
That's, I think, the biggest misconception about people who, I'll use the gym, for example. A lot of people think like, oh, it's so easy. I've heard you're so lucky. So many, I gag when somebody says, you're just so lucky. Literally gag.
Right.
I don't think you guys understand. It takes, when you see somebody who's doing something and they're making it look effortless, it probably took so much time, energy, sacrifice in order to get to that point.
Right.
So it's really not luck. It's being consistent, being
Hard
disciplined,
work.
showing
Right.
up every day, no matter how it is that you're feeling, because you can make every excuse under the sun not to come and do something. Oh, there was traffic and I wasn't going to make it on time. I have a kid and she has a husband, and whatever excuse it is that you have, you're able to figure it out. Whether that's working out at home, whether that's joining a sport and doing it that way instead, going for a walk with your family.
Right.
You can literally implement so many different things and get rid of all of the excuses.
Yeah, there's even people that have done, YouTube videos at home, moms that have worked out that way. I mean, there's a big online community now with trainers that just do their workouts online, have a big online community where once a week, go on my live workout, join my program. Like, I've seen so many of those
There's
come
so
up
many.
that it's like a whole new thing too. Like, that's new. Like, I just discovered that world.
And you can find anything on the internet
Right,
these days.
literally,
Truly.
literally. So
you can find
there's really
anything.
no excuse at this
There's
point.
online yoga. There's literally
Everything.
online therapy. Literally
Literally.
everything is online now. Kind of scary.
Which brings us basically, so, talked about being disciplined and how it played a role in our journey with podcasting and how it plays a role actively in the way we live our lives, right? So when it comes to the lessons that we learned through, I guess, creating this podcast, right? The challenges that we encountered had to do with consistency, right?
Yes.
A lot of it, I'll be honest, had to be on my end. I'm going to say it now before,
I wasn't going to say it. So I'm glad.
But you know what?
She said it.
I'm honest. I'm
No,
honest.
she is actually. You
I
really are.
back
Always.
myself, so it is true. I feel
But
like
it is hard.
It is hard. I think it was hard to keep. We were doing a lot. First of all, this is a lot. I don't think people realize like how much work this is. Like,
no,
I don't think we even realized. I think I didn't realize.
I mean, I had an unfair advantage because I've done YouTube before and Twitch streaming and all of the things beforehand. So I definitely had an idea of what this was going to be.
I did not.
I think you have done so much content creation,
Like,
which is like
short
one thing.
Yeah. Very short.
But to do a podcast
and then YouTube,
also YouTube and content
social
creation.
media, that was like a whole new like ball game for me. But now I feel like, okay, like I got my rhythm down, but it was like very much so like, oh my God, okay, this, like we just filmed, but now we have to do this and now this and then this. And I'm like, now I have a million things to do at work.
Yeah.
So it was very much like I think learning gap, but also very overwhelming because it was just like a lot of content thrown at me at once. And first of all, if you know me, you know I love the content. Okay. But it was to the point where I was like, this is too much.
This is too much.
Like, I'm sick of looking at myself.
I don't want to hear my voice anymore.
Yes.
No, truly.
Yes.
And it's like, that's the thing is that, of course, yeah, we're doing this podcast, but we have full-time jobs. I'm a mom. She's married. So we have to divide our attention to other people and cater to other people. And, you know, there's cooking, there's gym, right? We have to have time for our mental focus on that too. And so it is a lot. And honestly, I'm just grateful that our dynamic is so good working with each other. I am definitely super blunt and straightforward, like we've spoken about before. And I just know I annoy the shit out of Karina sometimes because she's one who will like take things personal if I like say it a little bit too tough. And I'm like, I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah. But I also know that you're not like malicious.
Well, you know,
you're not a person that's like, you don't come from like the wrong place. Like I understand like you care a lot about the podcast, you care a lot about what we're doing. Like there's a lot of heart behind what this is. You know what I mean? Where I'm not gonna be like, it's not directed. Again, going back to what I've said before, it's not directed like at me specifically. Yes. And I think a lot of times like the immediate reaction is to like beef, right?
Yeah.
But it's like I'm the type of person that like I look internally too, and I'm like,
yeah,
you know,
really good. That's what I mean.
I gotta clock myself too, like damn. You know,
that's why the dynamic is great, and I'm sure that she's probably sitting behind her phone, rolling her eyes,
like. But it's true, and you know, and I think that's how it has to be. Like I think about it as like a business. You know, I think about what we're doing as like running a successful business because. When you're running and you know, it's so crazy because it's so aligned with where I work right now too. And the dynamic that I have, like, even with my boss, like, it's always about like, like we have those open communications in terms of like, okay, this isn't obviously not working for us. And like, we have to talk it out instead of it just like both of us holding it together and holding it internally and not saying anything. And then it just blows up. And then we, all right, bye. You know, all this hard work, it just was like for nothing. Instead of just kind of like figuring it out because like, again, this is new in a way to both of us. Like it's a brand new project.
Growing pains.
Right?
For sure.
And it's a business at the end of the day if we think about it in that way because we do want it to grow. We do want it to bless other people. We do want it to, you know, become bigger than what we even imagine it to be. We don't know where God's going to take it, but we hope he takes it somewhere big, you know? So I think about it in that light now more than ever, especially with everything that I think God's exposing me to at work. Then now I'm like, okay, I need to like think about it in that perspective of running a business and like thinking of it in a way where it's like, what do we need to do to make this work? How do we make the changes? What do we, you know, how do we make it easier, like for each other at the end of the day? Because we're both very passionate about this. We both wanted to do this. We both met under the weirdest like circumstances. So it's kind of just like,
and just started talking about
if there's somebody that's gonna do it, it's gonna be like we both wanted to do it and we both jumped on it as soon as we said, you know, you know, so it's kind of like this is supposed to happen kind of thing. So,
and that's a thing too about when you are consistent, right? Then you can start to, at least in this sense, right? The podcast, we can start being more reliable, right? Then we're like gaining that trust from our community to actually show up every week, be consistent. And then you guys start to see that and you're able to tune in and you know we're going to be there and talk about whatever it is, whatever topics even that you guys have for us and things like that. So that's really why we want to be consistent because we could still do this and, you know, do it every couple weeks and
Right,
whatever.
but what's the point of that?
But exactly. Then we're not showing up for like as the reason we're doing this, if that makes sense.
Exactly, right.
And even though we're at small numbers, for me, I always feel like the small numbers is even more important and even more impactful, at least to me internally, because you guys are truly taking the time out of your day and showing up anyway. And you don't have to.
Exactly.
And you are literally here as our OG alum before it becomes a bandwagon thing, if it makes it to that, you know, whatever the purpose of this is and where it goes. But for sure,
right now,
you guys are showing up anyways, and you guys are literally just pouring your love.
And you get to be a part of that journey. And one thing that I like literally wrote down here, which I think is like just came, like, you know, I like reflected, was that you guys get to be a part of a community that's literally growing, learning, and healing and building with us. So I think like we hope at least that like with the messages and what we've learned and what we're sharing through the mistakes, the lessons, and the things that we have encountered through our journeys, that we're also helping you grow, heal, learn, and hopefully build in your own, you know, life as well with us, you know? So as we're growing, you're also growing along the way, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's, you know, that'll be exciting to see, like, you know, you guys following those footsteps with us.
And that brings us to discipline. Discipline is, it goes truly right alongside consistency. And you really do have to maintain your focus and maintain your control, your self-control, controlling your emotions. And again, showing up no matter what it is that you feel like. And I feel like that's the part where discipline kicks in. Because when you do not want to do something and everything is just screaming, let's lay down in bed and Netflix. Netflix or doom scroll for hours instead. That's when your discipline has to say, you know what? I'm going to get the hell up no matter how it is that I'm feeling and drag my little butt to the gym and perform. And that's when you start seeing the results, when you are just doing this. Because again, with the gym example, when you're doing something and you do it, let's say you go 2 months and you're not seeing that much of a result. You haven't dropped 300 pounds. You haven't dropped 100 pounds. I know. I'm exaggerating here. Okay. I'm an exaggerator, but right. When you're not going, 2 months consistently seeing results, a lot of people will, like we just said before, you'll fall off, and your discipline has to be stronger than that feeling itself. You have to know that I'm just going to do it, and I'm just going to show up, and I'm just going to stick to what it is that I gave my word to, no matter how it is that I'm feeling about it.
Right. And that's how I'm just making sure, because these mics, they be scaring me.
No, but we always have one off.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it is true though. That is definitely the thing that gets to most people. It's like,
and we've had to be super disciplined in, many aspects of our life, not just doing this podcast, but I've had the military and having to go through that, and just what that looked like was kind of insane sometimes. And it's one of those things that you really do have a structure. You have a set of rules. You have all these guidelines, just all of everything that you have to kind of stick to. And a lot of people will mess up their careers when it comes to military because they're not disciplined enough to, follow a simple instruction or listen to whatever it is that your superior is telling you, things like that. And, your discipline does, again, have to be stronger than those feelings of, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to listen, or I'm better than this, or I'm above this, all of those things.
So they like struggle with like authoritative.
Well, just anything. Some of it is authoritative. Some of it is, being in a new place with new people, and they're just like, you know what? I just don't want to do this anymore, and kind of throw up their hands. But I mean, when you're locked into a contract, you're locked into a contract.
Yeah. See, that's the area where I feel like in terms of like professional settings, like I'm pretty disciplined in terms of like I've always been, I think it's part of like the work ethic that I've had. Like it doesn't matter who my boss is or where I work or what new environment I'm in, like I adapt quickly in terms of like what they require out of me. It's like kind of like a survival thing too, kind of just like I've always needed a job in a sense to survive because of the circumstances that I've had to grow up in, that like I've always made sure that like if I had an opportunity and that opportunity came, like I was gonna make sure like I kept it. And one of the ways that I stuck out is like, I'm going to, whatever they need from me, like, I'm going to make sure I do that, whether it's showing up on time or what, whatever the boss needed, like things like that. Aside from, going above and beyond, whatever that meant to that person at that time or, or that company. But yeah, I think as far as like discipline and the workplace, like I got that down. Now, in the personal side,
she needs some work.
I need some work. I think financials, I think I've gotten so much better. I mean, we talked about this literally last episode. Thank you, Jesus, because I needed that. I needed that like awakening for sure. Like I was like, one of the things I want to work on when I turn 30 this past November. I really was like, God, like I can't keep living my life like not having healthier like money habits,
Yes.
Like I want to like steward
it's so important.
Like, my finances into the next year and continue that into the my lifetime, whatever many years you think you're gonna bless me with. Like, please let me learn to manage my money better. So that's something that I've like literally was like, I'm not gonna keep going this way because like I don't want to continue to strain like my family and my generation and my marriage because I don't know how to like manage my money.
Right.
And then like I think now I'm kind of leaning more towards like what's the next thing that I want to work on and be more disciplined in. And I think for me that definitely is my time management. Like I think there's a lot. I do a lot already. I feel like I am very productive, but I think I can even do more like creatively. I think I'm a very creative person, but I do a lot of like creative projects. Like this is something I do for myself.
Right.
But I think even further, like for me, I think I kind of like slowed down a lot, like on my Instagram and like my TikTok. And I don't know, I think like I tell myself like I don't have time, like the I don't have time. Oh my God, I'm too busy. But I think there's something there that I'm trying to figure out what it is. And I think like I have a lot of ideas and I have all these things. And I think it's like the time excuse. And I think it's just me not really dedicating or like using my time to the best ability to really like hone in on those skill sets that I know that I have and like really put like my best out there, which is like my passion, which is like content creation and like just being creative and like just put myself out there. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be like my next move is just like showing people what I really can do on my, like kind of like the way my brain visually like sees things, but like putting it on my platform,
No, for sure. And I mean, I think that's a part of that literally leads us right into our next segment is, lessons learned along the way. It's everything again is going to be growing pains and figuring out what works for you and how to manage whatever project it is that you're trying to get together and all of the other things that you have going on in your life as well. So you kind of do have to embrace the imperfections along the way.
Yeah.
Not everything is going to be perfect, especially when you're starting something out new.
Yeah.
When you are just starting something out,
Yeah.
again, it goes along with excuses. You will give yourself every reason under the sun to, oh, I can't post this because it doesn't look good or it doesn't sound good or it's not super professional and perfect or someone is not going to like this. Embrace the imperfections. That's a part of it. And you get to watch yourself grow when you're doing something like this. We did that at first where we recorded 3 episodes and we were just like, no, never mind. Like, let's not post these. Like, they don't look good. And honestly, we probably could have just posted them and just started.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, we caught ourselves very quickly. So it only kind of prolonged us for about a month. It wasn't anything too crazy, but some people will not pursue whatever it is that they are thinking of or dreaming of at all because they don't want to embrace that starting point. They don't want to see any failures. And the thing is whenever something fails, it's always a lesson. It's never really a failure. Yeah. You always find something that you can use when something doesn't go exactly how you wanted it to go.
Yeah.
Again, like we said, staying committed, celebrating the small wins along the way.
Yeah.
You know,
today.
Exactly. Like today. It also gives you, I feel like, something to look forward to a little bit when you do celebrate the small wins. Mm-hmm. And then you start to pick up on those more frequently when you do celebrate them. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, we got 10 episodes. Oh my God, we got 30 episodes. Right. You know, like just set the milestones for you so that way you're able to also enjoy what it is that you're building before you get to that big picture goal that you have in your mind.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, just to go back to kind of what you were saying, I saw a post that said the cost of success is embarrassment, right? Oh. And that's kind of what you were saying, like embrace those like hiccups along the way because like you're going to learn from those hiccups. And if, you know, those failures is what's going to teach you what not to do the next time, basically, right? And I love that it said like the cost of success is embarrassment because yes, you have to fail in order to learn from your failures, in order to learn what works, what people in this case want to listen to, want to hear us talk about. What do they like? Do they think we're funny or not? You know what I mean? Like things like that. So it's kind of like, yeah, we are going to embarrass ourselves sometimes. And that's okay. If, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to get to where we want to get to. Mm-hmm. And if it's going to be, you know, successful and it's going to help us get there, then this is what we're going to have to do. But yeah, that's just my little nugget for you guys.
A lot of people will talk about, you know, how to keep excitement along the way and to keep it fun and all of these things when the excitement starts to fade for you. I don't necessarily know that you can stay motivated in the sense of I always feel very happy about this because like we said before, you have to do stuff no matter how it is you're feeling. So for me, what helps me whenever I don't have that super excited, super motivated feeling, I just always try to stay connected to my why about why I'm doing something. What is it that I'm doing this for? What is my bigger picture? What is this going to do for me and bring for me? And what am I even bigger bringing to somebody else by sticking to this and doing this? And I think that's something that will push you a lot further than, again, the feeling of, oh, I'm so excited to be doing this right now.
Right. Exactly. The end goal. You know, another emphasis on, again, for us, I think, more importantly, for like why we're doing this. I think for me, I'm more of a purpose-driven person.
Right.
I think I've always been, for the longest time, I was lost. And now that I know more of, I think more than ever, who I am as a person and, you know, what I stand and believe in, I know that I'm purpose-driven in everything that I do. And this, for me, is something that at the end of the day, I hope it's impactful. I hope that it resonates what, you know, the message that whatever message, whatever episode, it helps somebody, right? And that it is, you know, some sort of knowledge that people can gain from. And ultimately that it's aligned with wherever it is that God's taking us individually or together or as a community. I feel like for me, it's about the purpose of the podcast. I don't know what it is. We don't know what that is, but I'm very much so driven by what God intends to do with it. Like, I just am so curious.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I just want to know.
I just want to know.
I want to know because I just feel like why? You know what I mean? Like, why are we even, like, in the sense of like, we know why, but I want to know his why. You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
You want to know.
Why are you having us out of the two people do this?
So I think that I was genuinely sitting here and thinking about this randomly in the dark in my bed because my ADHD brain doesn't shut off.
About me in the dark on her. Let me stop.
I'm done with you. No, but I was literally thinking about this and like why
what
are doing this and what is the purpose and everything, because I am purpose driven as well. I think for me, as long as I keep feeling called to something, then it really is something that I should be doing, right? Especially when I think that like God has put it in my brain to do it. But obviously for us, we think our purpose is to, provide knowledge to other people and to be able to pass on whatever it is that we've learned to our viewers and things like that. But I was actually thinking it could honestly be that God is having us do this for us to learn something. You know what I mean? Learn something about ourselves, learn something about podcasting and creation and just, starting something from nothing. And I almost think that because we've said before that we're going to learn something, so much, right? Yeah. We're going to learn so much along the way.
I feel like I've learned so much already.
100%. I mean, even us two, like we have similar stories, but we have not had the same walk, the same path, the same upbringing even. So for sure, like we even learn things from each other. And I'm sure as the community continues to grow, we're going to learn things from other people as well. And so I was truly like it was so heavy in my mind that even if for me in my processing of all of this, even if it never gains a big following, even if there's because to be like famous or anything, even like social media famous and all that is so completely unappealing to me
too.
Because then everybody feels entitled to your life and your business and all of these things. And so for me, if that's where it goes and if that's where it's called to, great. But there is going to be so much that I'm just like dreading in that as well. Because
I feel that part's annoying. I don't even know how I would do that because I was just telling Sandra earlier, I don't even know how to reply to comments. I was like, I don't even know how am I going to deal with the hate comments if they ever do come. Because
my Lord.
I am sensitive, okay? And I'm like, oh my God, girl, I don't know how I'm going to deal with that because I'm going to need help. But
I think that
God's going to build us to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a process. Like, it takes... he's building us through this journey. You know what I mean?
Right.
If that's the journey that he wants us to go through, he's gonna build us through that. You know what
exactly.
I mean? And if it's not, then it's gonna open the doors or the avenues into where we're supposed to go at the same time. So again, I think this, like you said, it can be both ways. And I think I've gotten so much more confident in terms of being in front of the camera, talking to the camera, setting up the lights, editing, envisioning what we want our episode to look like, to like what I want the edit to look like, to like, you know what I mean? All these things that I can just imagine in my head and put it in a 30-second clip and send to you and be like, I already know what I'm gonna like do.
Exactly.
It's just like kind of like automatic, where I feel like I'm getting it all through just the experience that I'm getting through here, So whatever it is that God intends, it's all for our good. That's how we have to see it,
Right.
And if that's the path that he wants us to go on, then we gonna need him all the way.
And there's a movie, I'm not sure what the movie is, but there's a movie where, they're saying that if you pray for patience, God's not going to give you patience. He's going to give you opportunities to be patient and all of those things. And that's kind of what I started to think as well. So for you, it's, you're praying for you to be able to strengthen certain things or be disciplined in certain things. And then you're walking through this podcast and actively doing those things on here as well,
Exactly.
And so I do try to always think, what is he doing in me? And then what is it that he wants me to do for others as well, no matter what it is that I'm working in, because I do think, like we were talking about in the last podcast, being able to help others. And that episode was, a financial episode. So I think that you can tithe to people without it just being money. I think that we should be tithing our time, even our love, all of these things, and pouring those things into all of the people around us as well. And just trying to be, super disciplined and consistent with that.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. And I mean, in those ways, you have helped me, even in terms of like how you think about money, or even in terms of like holding me accountable, like we've talked about that before. It's kind of just like you show up a certain way that makes me show up a certain way, and vice versa.
Right.
So it's kind of like that already is something that I'm gaining through this. You know what I mean?
100%.
So,
and you feed off the energy that you're around. And so that's another thing, like consistency, discipline, all of these things are so important. Yes. But be, very mindful of who it is that you have around you, because you can be really consistent and disciplined on something in your mind, but if you allow outside forces and outside voices to kind of distract you or deter you from what it is that you're doing, it is going to always be like the biggest devastator. A lot of people will stop doing something because, their family says like, oh, that's stupid. You shouldn't do this. Or, they just feed so much doubt into your mind and all of that.
They project their own fears, their own whatever, ideologies onto you, or limitations. A lot of people limit themselves as to what they can accomplish, right? They don't see the vision. They don't see what God has planted in you, or the dream that he has put in you, that they can't see how big it is, because they've limited themselves. So sometimes it's good to just keep those things to you. And, one thing you've said before is kind of nurture the environment you're around to feed that vision.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I mean by like the, energy and everything, because it's almost easier to stay consistent and disciplined and keeping yourself accountable when you have somebody else also keeping you accountable. If I was just doing this podcast on my own and starting out, had I never done a podcast before, I would probably be a little bit less consistent maybe, or not want to post so much. I would probably be good at the editing, because that part I picked up fairly quickly when I was YouTubing before, but posting on socials and all of that, never. I'm horrible at it. I don't like it. I hate social media, to be honest with you. If I could just delete it and like drop off the face of the earth of socials, I would totally do it.
I would just probably never. Period.
Never
like not on YouTube.
Record.
I probably would have had all the footage in like all my phone, and just probably would have been like, yeah, no. No, I don't know. Did I say this right? What are people gonna say if I say this? You know what I mean? I would just like second guess everything. Or did that make sense? Like, I think a lot of times, I don't know if I make sense. You know what I mean? If people think or are gonna understand what I'm trying to say. And it's not until like I have real conversation. I feel like when we like do these things, it's like I'm having a conversation. Right. You know what I mean? So it is a
conversation between us. Right. And we're kind of like letting everybody join in on our conversation too.
Exactly. So like I know you get it, or like you'll rephrase it if it sounds a little crazy. Yeah. Like, but it's just like if I were doing it by myself, I would kind of be like, wait, but did that like sound right? Did that
Right.
make sense? Do I have to re-record it? So then it's not as natural anymore because now you're re-recording it. Now it sounds like, okay, like how many times does she like film this? You know,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
you know.
And
So
that's again, that's a part of, you know, excuses and stuff that you can let, because it's you doubting yourself. It's not even somebody else doing it, right? Like you're doing the work for somebody else at that point. And that's one thing that I am a little bit grateful for. I don't care to be understood. I say things and it probably doesn't always come across exactly how I mean it or exactly how I want it to be said. Those who get it will get it. Those who it is meant for, it will be meant for. And those who just choose to like want to have an issue with whatever and everything under the sun, they won't get it. And I genuinely want to look you guys in the face and say that I don't care. No, I don't want to be understood. I just want to be able to share what it is that we have gone through, because we've been through, you know, moments before that, you know, we're discussing here on the podcast, and wished we had somebody there to talk to about it. Wished we had somebody who experienced anything similar and we can kind of get some advice from them. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we're, you know, here doing this with you guys for sure. Letting you guys into our lives a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, just to kind of bring it all back in, we just want to hopefully encourage you guys, you know, through us sharing our journey on our 10th episode, and from how that has looked like the last several months, I think, right? It's been a few months, of us filming, our ups and downs, our, you know, consistent struggles on this end, discipline struggles. But hopefully that encourages you to kind of look within, kind of look at what your own journey looks like. What are some areas that you want to work on, and remind you that it's okay. We're not perfect, that we all struggle in some things, but you could always, you know, decide today to make a change and start showing up for yourself and start saying, you know what, F how I feel. Tomorrow I'm going to start showing up, and I'm going to do it every day until, you know, I see the results that I want, until I make the change that I want, until I, you know, accomplish what it is that I said that I was going to accomplish for the last 3 years. And it's time. You know what I mean?
And it's time.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes we just got to do what we say we got to do, you know, we want to do. And yeah, that's what I got to say.
But just to kind of recap on everything before we wrap this up here, you know, remember, guys, stay consistent, stay disciplined. When you don't feel like being consistent, you know, your discipline will kick in, and just remember your why. This is not going to be an easy road for no matter what it is that you're trying to achieve. When you are trying to do something to the point of mastering it, it is not going to be the easiest road at all. So just stick with it. You guys got it. And we're here to, you know, listen to whatever it is. You can either email us at unfilteredjourneyspodcast@gmail.com, or you can follow us on our socials. Our TikTok is Unfiltered Journeys Pod, and our Instagram is Unfiltered Journeys Podcast. So go ahead and give us a follow, comment, subscribe to this channel here. We truly cannot express enough how much we love you guys who are here, and appreciate you guys for sticking with us. Yes. 10 episodes deep. And we hope to see every single one of you here at episode 100 as well.
Yay. Wish us a happy 10th episode anniversary in the comments. Cheers.
I love you guys.
Bye.